it did not go very well. Okay, I was like, it didn't go very well. Those group of women, to me, it seemed like something genuine to do. It seemed like a good environment initially, but I just wanted to pose the question of like, what does a sisterhood or a community of Black women look for you all? Peace and blessings, y'all. How is everybody? I miss y'all. I miss y'all. We was on a roll, ain't it? 8 episodes in for Her Mind is Beautiful. And I had to take a pause. So I just want to tell y'all I appreciate everyone who continued to watch and catch up on the past episodes. I appreciate that so much. It just motivates me to keep putting out content. I appreciate that a lot of you all can relate to the content I've been doing. So I appreciate all of that. But I am back and we're going to continue with our episodes. So right now, this is episode 9. I had another episode lined up, but I wanted to talk about a specific thing first because I wanted to introduce something that I've been working on to my Black women collectives out there. Okay, so this episode of Her Mind is Beautiful, I posed a question: what does a sisterhood and a collective look for you? So that's what I'm going to be discussing today. What does it look for you? And I'm discussing that because, like, you know, my content is driven and centered around Black women, us being able to have deeper connections and having healthier connections with one of us. And a lot of that has to do with us working on ourselves and growing, building, and healing within. So I wanted to take the moment to talk about, while we're talking about all of the things of how we can connect with one another, how we can have healthier relationships with one another as Black women and build a community. I just wanted to pose the question of like, what does a sisterhood or a community of Black women look for you all, you know, or look for myself? Like, I think a lot of times when we talk about the hurt and pain and the wounds that we have in regards to having friendships and connections with other Black women, we just kind of out here just free falling, right? We just, hey, wherever the wind blows, right? But we're not being intentional. And I think that that is very important if you and me, if we are serious about really trying to establish and have these great, healthy connections with one another. It's easy for us to walk away, and because we've been hurt and we've had so many mishaps and so many hurtful, toxic relationships with one another, it's easy to say, I'm good off of that. I'm going to be by myself. I'm just going to just be solo dolo. But I'm a strong believer in connections. Connections are needed. We all are connected with one another. Like, you know, that's something I tell y'all all the time. Like, we are an extension of one another. So we need one another, okay? And we need those connections because those connections help us grow. I'm someone who's a firm believer that every relationship we have with anyone in our lives is a lesson that we can learn from that. So when we connect ourselves with one another, it's something that we can learn from that person, and it's something that person can learn from us that helps to enhance or helps us evolve and helps us on this continuous journey of growing. So I don't want to hear I don't hang with women. I don't want to be around women. I don't do this with the women. Like, I feel like a lot of times that when I hear other women say that, it's because of some hurt there. They felt betrayed. They felt abandoned in some way, betrayed in some way. They felt these things. And so the natural thing to do is just retreat, because no one wants to be hurt or betrayed or, have to deal with disloyalty over and over and over again. And I can understand that, because me being going through the experiences I've went through, I've definitely became more guarded, and I've definitely pulled away a lot from other friendships and other women in my life, kind of just dealing with myself. And at one point in time, I did, my husband was like, well, you can't be guarded. You got to get out there. You got to meet other people. You can't be standoffish. And I did put myself out there to meet other women at one point in time, and it did not go very well. Okay, I was like, it didn't go very well. Those group of women, to me, um, it seemed like something genuine to do. It seemed like a good environment initially, but I realized that, to me, I felt like there wasn't really it wasn't a real genuine want or a genuine effort to really connect with one another. It just was kind of more so on some like, oh, networking with the who's who, this click, that click type of deal. Kind of like, the ongoing narrative about brunches. You remember the women empowerment brunches? It was on the lines of that. Like, is these women empowerment brunches and these women empowerment movements, and when you go in there, you really believe in, like, okay, this is about to be a true sisterhood, a true connection. We're really about to, like, unpack, get to know, connect, and grow and build something here, only for you to get there and it's just kind of like the who's who and the what's what. And if you don't know the who's who and you don't know the what's what, you are kind of out of the loop, and you're kind of out there by yourself, just wading in the water. So you feel like an outcast once again. You don't feel included. It's no one's taking the time to try to include yourself. And even when you putting yourself out there, because you might not have a certain status or a certain look or certain resources or certain connections, people just don't see the need for you. I know with the situation that I'm speaking on, like, I just became somebody people use because I knew how to do makeup. No one was interested in anything else I had to offer besides just trying to find a way to use my services for the low, because I came in really trying to bond and connect with these women. And of course, I'm like, yeah, like, I don't mind helping you out, sis. I'll give it to you for this, for that. And then it's just like, that's all I was at that moment. So then I realized, like, okay, this is not about actually connecting and building real, genuine connections. This is just about networking and seeing how we can use one another to benefit ourselves. So with that, I fell back. So I can definitely get it. I definitely understand how you find yourself opening yourself up to really trying to have these connections, only for you to realize it's not what you expect it to be. But that's when we go back to, what is your intentions? And so I have a coach, and one thing, talking to my coach, shouts out to Beyond Taylor, because that's my coach. And she's amazing. And one thing she had me recognize when I was talking about the content that I do, she had me recognize that I'm invested in the content that I do. I'm invested in this podcast. I'm invested in using my platform to help us as Black women establish something genuine as far as connection, establish something genuine as far as supporting one another, doing the work that we need to do individually so that we can give that energy to others outside of ourselves and have these great, strong connections. And I realized that it's because I have experienced the lack thereof. I've probably had more experiences of not so genuine connections than I've had with actual genuine connections. And I could have just been like, I could have made my platform about why you shouldn't trust women, why you should stay away from women. This is the problem with women. This is why women be jealous of you. This is why women do this. I could have leaned into a more cautionary platform or content, but I had to be honest with myself and say, I really want that genuine connection with other Black women. That's what I want. I want that. I want to be able to have that. And maybe if I'm not seeing these things, maybe I should start by actually creating a space for Black women to have genuine support and genuine connection that goes past the external or the material or what you can offer. So, yeah, I'm leaning into that because I realize I'm a believer in the fact that a lot of times you will find a lot of your purpose, a lot of your what it is you're supposed to do, you will find it in your challenges, things that challenge you. And having consistent, healthy female bonds has been a very challenging journey for me. Like, even from me and my mother, like being raised, like the first woman relationship in my life, it has been a big challenge for me. And I could easily turn away and be guarded, but I feel like I'm called to lean into this and create or help myself while helping others to establish those genuine connections. And one way to establish those genuine connections is that your intentions. It's just like any other relationship. When anything, like if we're finding a relationship or looking for a relationship in a partner, a lover, whoever, if we're not coming in with intentions of what we're looking for, we're bound to get anything because we're not coming in with the intentions of these are the qualities that I want in a partner or in a lover. We're just coming in, just free falling once again, and just hoping that we're just going to conveniently land on something great and something good. So even when you're looking for a relationship with a partner, with a lover, husband, whoever, you are going in with the intentions of knowing what it is that you want in a partner. You know the things that you want in a partner, you know what you want from a partner. And it's the same thing when it comes to looking for connections, genuine connections in other women. Just because it's friendships, and it's not a romantic relationship doesn't mean that you don't have to put the same effort and intentions in having those genuine connections. And I feel like that is the mistake a lot of us make when we start having these friendships with other women and wonder why we get hurt or wonder why it just didn't work out, because we just so happenly feel like, oh, she's cool. We click with a woman at our job, or we click with someone in our neighborhood or someone we go to school with, and it's just like, oh, she cool. Oh man, let's hang out. Wop wop wop. but we're not intentional to see that, okay, is this somebody that I want to have a genuine connection with? Is this somebody that I want to put the time in, invest the energy in, with building a real, genuine, solid connection? Just because she might be fun and cool on the job does not mean that she may align with the type of connection or the type of things or standards that I see for a friendship. So we go in here, we just like, oh, she cool. And then it's like, oh my gosh, she's jealous of me. Oh my gosh, she's always competing. Oh my gosh, she be talking behind my back. Oh my gosh, she's always negative. She always has something negative to say. Oh my gosh, she spends her money recklessly and always is dependent on me to help her. Whatever the case may be. Whatever we find ourselves like getting involved with, and it's not for the well-being of us or having a stable, genuine, solid connection. So we don't have the intentions when we come into that. So that's why I asked the question, like, what does a sisterhood or a collective, what does that look like for you? That's the questions we need to say. Like, when we're trying to have a friendship or we're finding groups of friends, like, how does that look? I like to say sisterhood because that's how I envision and that's what I see in regards to having friendships. Like, I don't look at it, I don't see it as a friend group. You know, I look at it like it's a sisterhood. Like, we might not be sisters in blood, but we are sisters in the way that we set our intentions with one another, how we deal with one another, how we regard one another, how we look to one another, support, love, care, nurture. It's a sister. It's like if somebody was my sister. So my intentions when I am building rapport with women going forward is I'm looking for women who are authentic. That's like probably the biggest thing for me, authenticity. Because if you're authentic with yourself, if you're real with who you are, you're comfortable being who you are, most likely I'm not going to have to deal with you feeling like you have to compete with me because you know who you are and you're okay with being who you are. So if you look at me and see, oh, she's very creative, she makes candles, she know how to do this, she does her website, she makes candles, she does the makeup, she does the photo shoot. Like, someone who's authentic is not going to look at all of the things that I do and be like, look at what she do over there. I could do that if I really wanted to do that. Like, I mean, it ain't like she doing like did so much. Like, she's not going to compare herself. She can look at my creativity and she can be okay with that. She can be proud of that. She could be like, yo, like, my sis is very creative. You know what? When I start my business or if I want to do this or do that, like, that's somebody that I know who I can count on that is going to be a resource to what I have or what I'm trying to do. They're going to have my back. I know if I need some help with creativity and what I'm trying to do, that's the sis to go to. She's going to be authentic in knowing that I'm not the most creative person, but it's okay because my sis is, and my sis is going to help me. She's going to bring that creativity out of me. So it's nothing for me to compete or be jealous of. So authenticity is very key to me going forward now, looking for friendships, because a lot of times we'll find that like that's why a lot of us as women have the gripe of, oh, she's two-faced. It's because we didn't come in with the intentions of saying, I want a friendship that is rooted in authenticity. I want to attract friends who are authentic, who are real when it comes to who they are. And when I say real when it comes to who they are, like a lot of times people be like, I'm real because they feel like they're going to tell you the truth. Telling somebody the truth does not mean that you are authentic. That's two different things. Does not mean that you are authentic. A lot of times people will be quick to tell you about yourself and tell you the truth about what you ain't, who you is, and all of those things, but they won't be truthful to themselves. They won't tell themselves the truth. They could very well be giving you advice or telling you what you need to do and how you need to do it, and don't take their own advice for themselves. So I know a lot of people like to be like, oh, you think that because somebody speaks their mind or tells the truth that means that they are authentic. That does not necessarily mean that. A lot of times, like, people like to wrap that real, I'm a real person, I'm gonna speak the truth. They like to wrap that in with being mean, mean spirited. I say that a lot. You know, people will wrap their meanness, they will wrap the, oh, I'm just keeping it real and I'm telling you the truth. They'll wrap that around being mean. Like, no, you're mean spirited. What you saying might be truthful, but you're not saying it for the purpose of me to grow. You're not saying it for the purpose of me to know the truth so I can be better. You're not saying it for the purpose of holding me accountable. You're saying it to be malicious. You're saying it to be mean. You're saying it to hurt my feelings. You're saying it to cut me down. And that's the difference. Intentions. So somebody who tells the truth is not necessarily authentic. It's plenty of people who will tell you the truth about something, but won't tell you the truth in regards to the great things you do, the potential you have, the gifts you have. They won't tell you the truth about that. They'll hold their mouth on that, but they'll tell you the truth about every flaw, negative thing about you. They want to tell you. And then when it comes to themselves, they won't tell themselves the truth either. So it's a fine line between somebody who's authentic. Like, somebody who's authentic, they're just true to themselves. They don't try to be anything else but who they are. If they know they're the type of woman who like to put on J's and they like to dress like tomboy, they're not going to be mad when they show up and they got on their J's and they, whatever attire they have on, and they homegirl over here got on heels and a bodycon dress. They're not gonna be like, oh, well, if you was wearing that, why? I mean, you should have told me. I mean, why I got to be the only one? Nah, they're gonna come in there with their J's and they're gonna be like, let's go, let's roll. Because they're secure with who they are, because they know who they are, because they're true to who they are. They're not trying to be anybody else. So that is important. For me, when I speak on what a sisterhood and a collective look like, it looks like authenticity. It looks like authentic women. Every woman knowing who they are and being okay with who they are. Another thing that I see with the sisterhood is I see nurturing, compassion. Like, that's what I want to attract with other Black women. I want to attract Black women who are compassionate, who are vulnerable, who are nurturing, because a lot of times as Black women, because of a lot of things that we have to deal with and go through, we are a lot more guarded. We're a lot more guarded. We put on the strong exterior, and we feel like we have to be this strong person to the point where we leave no room for vulnerability for ourselves, compassion for ourselves, nurturing for ourselves. And if what we can't be for ourselves, we cannot be for anybody else. You're not going to be nurturing and vulnerable with anybody else because you can't be vulnerable with yourself. You'll be surprised how I've heard Black women say certain things like, oh, please don't cry around me. Please don't do that around me, because that's awkward. I don't know what I I'ma just look at you, or I mean, I'ma like, you all right, sis, but I mean, and it's nothing, it's understandable, but the reality is that's not necessarily normal. It's not necessarily normal to be detached from seeing someone that you consider close or that you connect with, and you see them having an emotion and you detach from that because it makes you uncomfortable. That means that it's a lack of intimacy. That means you can't connect intimately with your friend because you don't know how to tap into probably your own emotions. You don't know how to be vulnerable with yourself. You may feel like if somebody hurt you or hurt your feelings, your first thing is to be defensive and to like attack, because you equate the sentiment of feeling hurt as a sign of weakness. And it's not. Being hurt is not a sign of weakness. Somebody doing something to you or saying something to you to hurt your feelings is not you being weak, is you being human. You're being human, having an experience of feeling sad or feeling hurt because someone did something that made you feel that way. Or I won't say they made you feel that way, but it impacted you to feel that way. And it's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're a human being, you're supposed to feel. So I want women who can be vulnerable, who can express how they feel, who can be open to other people's feelings, to my feelings, to not be put off guard or not feel awkward because like what I'm like, I don't know what you want me to say or do. Like, I want to have that, because it's oftentimes we hold a lot of things in from one another because it's like, well, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want to ruin the mood. I don't want to make people sad. I don't want to do this, do that, So we bottle it up and try to, hold it in like nothing is wrong, but it is something wrong. And I expressed that in a video I did in regards to Ashley Braxton, when I talked about how sometimes we just need to be nurturing and supportive. Like, we don't have to immediately go into judging everything. So what she expressed about what she experienced, the trauma she experienced in her life, like, before we get to judging and pointing fingers, it's like, why can't we just take a moment and receive and be nurturing and have some compassion for her first? And I think that has a lot to do with maybe because we've never made the space for us to do so, because we've had to be strong. And it's like, and that's cool and understandable, but that's what I want to attract. I want to attract, I know I have to be strong in the house. I got to make sure the kids this, I got to make sure that, I have to in certain areas, yes, but I want to be able to go to my sisters, my sisterhood, my collective, and I want to be able to be vulnerable. I want to be able to release some of that tension and let go of that strength sometimes. And there is strength in just letting go. There is strength in vulnerability. And I just want to allow that to go and just be. Cry if I just want to cry. Express some hurt, express some insecurities without having to be judged and somebody telling me, oh, suck it up, get it together. That's life. Like, we get enough of that in the world, going to work, having to deal with the things, the microaggressions we might have to deal with at work, and the discriminations we got to deal with in aspects of a lot of things in this society. And it's like, what's a sisterhood if you can't find a place to just let that stuff go and just be? Not have to look like you got it all together all the time. I don't want that. I don't want to attract, or I don't want a sisterhood where everybody feels like they just got to have it together. I don't want that. I want a sisterhood where we can be vulnerable and open to one another and be real with one another. Like, you stressed about rent, Be able to say that without feeling judged, like, oh, she can't pay her rent again. No, like, I'm stressed. Like, I don't know if I got to pay my rent. I don't know this. I don't know that. Be able to be vulnerable and express that. Because in that, expressing that, you can have people to help you. But sis, let's figure out something. Let's figure out, like, we're going to help you this month with the rent, but we're going to figure out something to where you sitting in a position where you don't have to feel stressed out about your rent again. Being supportive, being vulnerable, being compassionate, understand that we go through things in life. We have moments in life, and sometimes we have moments where it ain't just a few days or a week. Sometimes our moments last a little long and we be going through it for some months. But I want a group of women, a collective, a sisterhood that understands that and has the ability to be the nurturer that they need to be for one another. And I want to be that for them. I want to be the person to nurture too, to be able to allow you, because sometimes you just want to vent and you just want a head to lean on, and you just want your sister just be there and let you just lean on them and cry and do whatever needs to be, whatever, let it out, get whatever out that needs to be let out at that moment. And I see a lot of times, a lot of us are very guarded. Like, it's okay it's okay to have a solution. It's okay to be solution based, but it's a time and a place for everything. And initially, when you have someone coming to you and they want to be vulnerable with you, leave space for them to be vulnerable. Leave space for you to just nurture them, be compassionate, be understanding initially. Then we can get to being solution based. A lot of times we want to come in with the solution, like, here, this is what you need to do, suck up them tears and go about your business. But it's like, no, we don't have to be that way with one another. So yes, that's what I am looking for. And that's the type of that's what sisterhood will look like for me. Authenticity, nurturing, being compassionate with one another, being vulnerable with one another. Also, like, being supportive, supporting one another, not just supporting each other and being the shoulder to cry on, but supporting each other in our successes and, our wins in life. That's hard to find sometimes too. It, like, misery loves company. Trauma bonding is a thing. Some people love to just attach and bond with you when things is going wrong. Some people feed off of that. Some women feed off of that. And when things start going right, it's hard to see, those same people around. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be conversations where, oh, when you have a baby, when you get married, when you buy a house, that's when you really see people. That's when people fall off. Like, that shouldn't be a constant thing. I want women who can be supportive in the wins. I want to attract women, and I want a sisterhood that not only wants to celebrate you and support you in your wins, but they willing to, like, help you get to the win. Like, what can I do? How can I help? What ways can I help you? And that's what I want to be too. Like, what ways can I help? I might not can't do this, but maybe I can do this for you, because your success is my success. To see you successful, to see you make your dreams come true, that empowers me, that motivates me, that pushes me. And especially when I know that I'm going to get that back in return. Leading into the next one, reciprocity. Like, definitely a sisterhood looks like support and reciprocity. The same way you give me support, I can give you that same support back. And when we keep, like, recycling, pouring back into each other, our cups will always be filled. It will never be a moment where one of us feel drained and depleted. Because the same way you pouring into me, I'm going to pour back into you. The same way you support my wins, I'm going to support your wins. I'm going to be there to support your wins. I'm going to be there to see you thrive. I'm going to do that. I'm going to be there to help you. If you need help to get in there, if you need help, if you like, hey, what did you do to buy your house? This what I did. This who I talked to. This where I went. Or what did you do? Like, how did you get that car? This what I did. This, not trying to gatekeep, not trying to compete, not trying to make sure they're the only one who sit at a superior status. Like, no, like, I make it, you make it. We make it. Or as Martin say, I blow up, you blow. And having that reciprocity, like it's a continuous cycle of give and take, give and take, give and take. Like, that's one thing I realized too, that in me coaching, and I had a session, had my birth chart read. Shouts out to Be More. I'm shouting everybody out today. Shouts out to Be More. But I had a birth chart, and this same thing came back up with me getting coached by Taylor. And the constant theme is that I give a lot and I don't get what I give back in return. And there comes an underline of resentment there, because you give and you don't get that in return. And yeah, it's a resentment there, because you become depleted. Because if I'm steady giving, and you're taking, it's like, so I have to go then and I have to pour back in myself to replenish myself, to fill myself back up again. So I'm pouring into you filling up. I gotta go and replenish every time. And at some point, yes, you become very resentful, because it's like, dang, like, well, what's the point of this if I gotta keep pouring back into myself only to pour into you and deplete myself? No, I don't want to do that. If that's the case, I could just be by myself and keep steadily pouring into me. And when I say it's steady give, like, it's not like you can give to people and it doesn't have to be material. It doesn't have to be monetary. Like, you don't have to. And I think a lot of people associate that with, oh, she don't give me nothing, because they associate it on a material level. But people's energy, to me, that's bigger than money, because that energy, that time, you can't necessarily get that back. You can't go cash it in, like, I want my energy back. No, that energy, you done gave that energy. That energy done transferred over there. That's gone. You got to drum up some more energy. You don't get that back. So the time you sitting on the phone talking, the time you talking on the phone, or the time you sitting in their company and you listening to them vent, and you listening to talk about this, and you listen to all their issues and dramas and pains, or you listening to all of the great things they got going on. But when you start talking about the great things you got going on, I'm gonna talk to you later, or it's kind of like, okay. Like, the excitement and the motivation you have for their wins is lackluster when it comes to your wins. Like, that's depleting somebody's energy. That's taking somebody's energy. You want me there as your sideline, as your sidekick, to rally you, but you don't do the same for me. So now I got to rally for myself. Like, it's more to taking from people than just material things. You know what I'm saying? Like, you taking from somebody's time, you taking from somebody's love, somebody's pouring into you, speaking highly of you, spending time with you. Like, you taking that from them when when it's asked of you, you can't do the same. So they come into anytime you got a birthday party, they're at your birthday party, they celebrating you. When it's their birthday, you know where to be found. They can't hear from you. They don't talk to you. It ain't a happy birthday text. It ain't a nothing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a stop by. It ain't a, oh, do you want to go do something? Let's do something together. It's like out of sight, out of mind. When it's their house and they buying their house, it's like, oh, you like, that's great, that's wonderful, I'm gonna come by and see it. It's all of this celebratory things going on. But when you get your house, they out of sight, out of mind. They can't stop by, they can't show up. Like, just not showing up, but you steadily show up for them as a friend. That is giving. When you steadily sit in a position where you are showing up for your friend or your friends, when they're going through something, you coming in there, whether it's with some tea or wine. Girl, let's sit down and talk about it. What's the problem? When they want to celebrate, you there with them. Like, you're there, giving your time, your energy, your presence. But whenever the shoe is on the other foot, they're absent. That's the lack of giving. They're not giving back. They're not pouring back into you. They're not having the reciprocity. That is somebody who is a taker, and they are not a giver. They're expecting you to show up for them, but they have no intentions to show up for you. And we make time for what we want. Now, I was told that I do have to, and this is why I say intentions, because I was told that, like, you have to be intentional. You have to be aware of the people that you call friends, the people that you choose as friends. And that's just what spawned this whole thing, because it's like, yeah, why aren't we as intentional about who we choose as friends as we are intentional as who we choose as partners? And to be quite honest, some of us ain't that intentional about that either. Some of us ain't as intentional as we need to be on how we choose partners. So at the end of the day, we just need to be intentional about the people that we attract in our lives, the people that we want in our lives. It should be intentional. It shouldn't just be a matter of factly, oh, they just so happen to be, oh, it just so happened to happen. No, like, it should be very intentional. Every person you meet and you cool with and you vibe with shouldn't just immediately just have a place to be in your inner circle of friendship. No, that place should be earned the same way you should earn a space and a place with them. And that happens over time, getting to know each other, because your presence, your energy is a gift, and so is theirs. And if we treat it as such, if we treat our presence as such, then we won't make ourselves so available to any and everybody who don't deserve it. So, reciprocity. So what we have: authenticity, being vulnerable, nurturing, compassionate; reciprocity, being supportive, all of those things. And I would say my own personal, a few of my own personal, for, like I say, what I want in a sisterhood. Like, I want women that, of course, that I could just have fun with. I was talking once again in my sessions, and we was talking about just like having that inner child, being like fun and silly. And I was just thinking about things to be like, I was very silly. I was a very silly person at one point in time, until I allowed myself to feel that me being silly was somewhat immature, due to me allowing other people's perceptions to somehow, like, come at me. Like, I used to want to do stuff like, oh, let's dress alike. That's juvenile. Oh, let's do this. That's juvenile. So it kind of dimmed me down, my playful, fun-loving, like silly behavior, because it was viewed and perceived as being immature. It was perceived as being like naive, dingy, maybe even dim-witted, because people act like that, like being silly and having fun, like, like we too old for that. But I feel like that's when we starve our inner child, and that's when we have the issues that we have. Like, you should always have that inner child within you to be childlike sometimes. Have fun, like let go. Don't be so uptight. Like, you need that. I'm not saying be that all the time. I'm just saying there are calls for those moments to have fun and and I say that because when we tap into our inner child of being childlike and fun and spontaneous, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to be authentic. That's the time when you're allowing yourself to just be in the moment and not worry about what other people think. Like, you're more focused inward and less outward. And it allows you to be present. That's the importance of like allowing your inner child to just explore, have fun, and be silly sometimes, despite how old you are. It gives you that that level of like just not worrying about what other people saying. It's like that innocence, that confidence, I don't know. This just intuitively in me just came out. Like, when I think of inner child, I don't know why Leos come in my head. Leos. The I don't know who's a Leo sign out there, but that's just came. It's like Leo, the sun, yellow. Those things that attach to that inner child. Leo, yellow, sun. That's what with Capricorn is coming to my mind. I don't know. I'm not saying this for Capricorn. Maybe it's a Capricorn out there that's a little uptight in structure. Maybe you need to kind of align in that Leo energy right now and just learn how to play and learn how to be in that sunshine and have fun and be silly and let your guard down and not worry about what other people say and what other people think. That's the importance. And I want to be around women. I want a sisterhood where we can tap into our inner child and there's no frowning of the face or we too old for this, and just allowing ourselves to be like that. Is one thing I would say, even though it got dimmed down when I went to college, South Carolina State. The young ladies that I met at Bradham Hall, I would say they definitely helped me tap back into my inner child, because that's one thing I can say that I really enjoyed. The things that we would do in that in that dorm, like it just stuff we did, silly stuff like kidnapping each other's stuffed animals, holding them up for ransom, having funerals for a bird. Like, I just love those ladies for that, because I think I needed that moment. And I didn't graduate from South Carolina State University. And sometimes we look at things and be like, why? I did something in life, but I didn't complete it. But we not realizing like that may not have been your purpose of being there in the first place. And I feel like my purpose for being there was to be able to find women that I could like explore that inner child, and I could let it go, and I could just be the silly. It was like, oh man, it's other girls around here that I could be silly and act silly with, and we ain't around here worrying about what other people think. We're just being our silly selves. Like, I just want to say to those young ladies out there, y'all know who y'all are. Y'all from Bradham Hall, South Carolina State University. I'm trying to think of the year. I'm gonna say 2004, 5, maybe around 2004 or 5. I want to say 2003, maybe 2003 and 4, maybe. I don't know. But shouts out to Bradham Hall during that time. I don't even know if there's still a Bradham Hall. Shouts out to y'all ladies, because yes, I definitely have fun, and y'all definitely allowed me to be the uh, silly, fun person that I am, and y'all definitely gave space and allowed me to just like tap into that inner child spirit and energy. And I have fun doing it with y'all ladies. So I appreciate that. And that is what I want to attract. And that is what a sisterhood looks like to me as well. And I say the last thing I would say would be community. Community. I definitely want a sisterhood for me, or a collective looks like to me would be just people like us as Black women, like getting together and giving back to the community, giving to others, being a cornerstone, if I should say, in the community, like being a staple of giving back and, helping to grow and build and evolve our community as Black women, and not be so divisive in the Black women versus Black men, or we seeing the bigger picture. Like, this ain't about this versus this is about us collectively, and knowing that Black women are the heart in the center of the Black community, and want to see the Black community evolve and prevail and just be great, and sincerely wants to give back and do things for that. That's what I want, because every woman don't want, every Black woman don't want that. We see Black women on here all the time, like, the Black man does this, the white man does that. Like, I want a sisterhood that is going to see the value in our community and make sure that we uphold that value in our community by giving back and doing whatever is necessary to do to keep evolving and growing our community. So what that has, so far, a sisterhood and collective for me looks like authenticity. It looks like nurturing, compassion, vulnerability. It looks like support, reciprocity. It looks like exploring our inner child together, or keeping that inner child spirit alive, and being involved in giving back to our community. Those are like, what, 8-10 things. That's what the sisterhood looks like to me, and that is going to be my intentions going forward in building that sisterhood. And while I'm speaking on building that sisterhood, I have already started. So I have started an online sisterhood or community on my website, bellaminded.com. It's called Attract Your Tribe. And Attract Your Tribe is my way of creating all of the things that I feel like a sisterhood looks like to me. This is a space that is sacred, that we can be vulnerable with each other, we can be authentic with each other, and we can establish genuine connections with one another without the toxicity of the outside, because we know social media can be quite toxic sometimes, with the trolls, with the censoring things, with just the divisiveness that goes along with people just wanting to argue about whatever they want to argue about. This is a space that is just for us like-minded women who need that sacred space away from the toxicity to very well build these genuine connections and find what we need, as well as helping you to attract your own tribe. So it's just not about you coming and being a part of Attract Your Tribe, but it's also about having workshops and webinars that work on ourselves internally so that we can attract our own tribes out there. So, yeah, I want y'all to be able to come in, talk to one another, build with one another, be open with one another. You can post, you can write, you can share whatever it is you want to do. But I will be offering also workshops and webinars that help you to attract your own tribe, to attract and be intentional about the friendships and the relationship with other Black women that you want to attract and that you want to center and create. So make sure y'all go sign up. It is free to sign up. It is free. It's free membership. You do not have to pay. Now, I would say hurry up because who knows? But for right now, it is very much free. All you have to do is go to bellamanda.com/attract-your-tribe, sign up. You go in, you have your own profile. You can put your picture up there. It's a whole page where it will show like the profiles of members. If you want to follow different members and, like I say, connect. Once you find like that y'all have some real genuine connections there, by all means you can do so. And you can also share within the larger group, because it's just like a social media, just like if you would go to Facebook or Instagram and you can post videos, you can post pictures, you can just write if you want to, you can post video. Whatever you choose to do is on there, and it is specifically safe, sacred for us by us. And it's very much curated for us. Of course, we have rules, and you can read those rules that's in there. Nothing strict, just basically a lot of what I've already said here. So make sure y'all sign up. I'm so excited for y'all to come sign up. I'm so excited for y'all to join, because genuinely, yeah, I'm looking at this boy through the window jump on my couch like it's a trampoline. My God, today. Anyways, yes, so let me wrap this up because I have a 8-year-old I'm gonna have to deal with. But definitely sign up, because we need one another. We need the connection. We need the support. You're looking for a support system. You're looking for genuine connections you could pour back in, and don't feel scared that you drained your energy or wasted your energy and time. Definitely sign up. It is free. Just put in your information and then wait for your approval, and you're all set to go. We want to hear from you. We want you to share, because you're valuable. You have something to offer us. You have something to give, something that we can learn from, and vice versa. So definitely go do that. Okay. And like I said, I have other things in store for us when we sign up, like monthly things. We will be having like monthly things. Monthly things come with certain monthly topics that we can discuss, monthly or weekly journal prompts that we could just have to write. I'm seriously thinking about creating personal journals. I'm really thinking about it. I don't know. I'm thinking about it like maybe like a free download. Maybe you could free download the journal to your phone and just have it like a digital journal to your phone. Or I was thinking I could print it. I don't know. I'm going to look at and see the cost on that. But I am thinking about journals nevertheless. So maybe it will be a free digital journal for the first time you sign up. Because yes, we're going to be doing like journal prompts, weekly activities that we could do virtually with one another. I'm coming up with some stuff like, yeah, we're really going to have fun. It's not just I know people think healing and personal growth and all that kind of stuff has to be like very rigid and just, no, it's fun. We're going to have fun. No, we're going to have fun. We are. I'm a fun person, y'all. Okay. I like to have fun. Like I told you, I'm silly. I'm silly, I'm corny, I'm all of that. So it's never gonna be a space where it's just gonna just be so centered in just one thing. We're spirits. We all are spirits, okay? So we're all spiritual. And you can find the depth and the meaning in anything, even in fun. Okay? Fun is needed, it's all needed. But I need y'all to hurry up and go hurry up and go sign up right now. Sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up, sign up. I can't wait to see you ladies over there. And I can't wait for the things we have in store. Definitely think about this. This is the homework I'm going to give y'all. I want y'all to think about and be intentional about the type of friendships or the type of women you want to attract. I want you to think about what sisterhood looks for you. What does that look like to you? What does it mean to you? I want y'all to think about those things and maybe write those things down. That's a journal prompt y'all could do right now. Like, what does sisterhood look like to me? What does a sisterhood look like? What does a sisterhood mean to me? What does a friendship with another Black woman mean to me? What does a connection with another Black woman? What type of connections do I want to attract? Write some of those things. Write them down in the comments, as a matter of fact. Just write them down in the comments and let me know. Now, other than that, I think that kind of sums it up. That's a wrap. And I'm going to leave y'all to it. Thank y'all for tuning in for another episode of Her Mind is Beautiful. Definitely go check out the website bellamanda.com for some more intimate blog postings, and as well as sign up for Attract Your Tribe and get into some of them candles and all of that stuff. That's great. Light a candle while you thinking about these things. My candle smell good, okay? This one right here is banging in the background. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. See y'all next time.